They say the first hours of a video game is a test, whether the game is worth your time or not. I have played so many games, and there is one thing that really fascinates me, that no one really talks about: the good and bad first few hours of a video game. Think about some games you've played in the past. How many of them have the first impressions so good you can't put your controller down? They also turn out to be some of the greatest games of all time. On the other hand, there are so many games with really bad first impressions. They are so bad you don't even want to continue playing. But why? What actually makes a good or bad first impression in video games? This is exactly what I want to talk about in this video. First, I am going to give some examples of popular video games and the common techniques they use to create grand first impressions. Then, I will compare it with the worst openings in video games and what we can learn from them. Boy, that part is going to be fun. And lastly, I am going to share some of my funny personal stories as well, so please watch until the end. Okay, let's start the video with what makes a good first impression? And what are some common techniques these video games use to make a grand opening? I want to talk about a technique called spatial expansion. This is a common technique from the movie industry, often used by cinematographers at major studios to create a sense of grandness. Spatial expansion is a moment where the game moves the player from a cramped, dark place into a massive, wide-open view of the world. Well, it's easier to show this with some examples. One of my favorite games of all time is the Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. It has one of the most breathtaking opening scenes of any video game. The game starts with Link waking up in a dark cave. Then, the door opens. Link sees the bright light coming from the end of the cave. He finally steps out, runs toward the mountain, and then, wow. We are presented with a wide, panoramic view of Hyrule, with the iconic Breath of the Wild main theme playing in the background. This spatial expansion gives us that wow moment, a sense of wonder, a feeling of freedom, and a hint of what this game could be. That is the moment I know I am going to have a blast. It is so simple, with very little dialogue or setup, but it is an effective method to give a sense of scale from the get-go. And this moment has been replicated in many other video games. Remember when you came out of the dark tutorial cave in Elden Ring? You went out and were presented with the panoramic view of the lands between. You can see the massive yellow Erd tree in the distance. You are greeted with such a vast, open world. It is beautiful. That spatial expansion is the moment you know you are going to have a good time. But spatial expansion is not the only way to set the tone. Actually, the opposite can be just as effective. If expansion is used to give a sense of awe and freedom, spatial contraction is used to trigger anxiety, claustrophobia, and dread. See, while games like Breath of the Wild and Elden Ring start in a small space and then open up the view, some other games purposely start with a wide angle and then make it narrower. Let me give you an example from one of my favorite game openings of all time: Resident Evil 7. The game smartly starts from the outside. It gives you a wide view of the house and its surroundings. I believe this is the only time you see the sun in the entire game, apart from the ending. The wide viewing angle and the bright sunlight give you the illusion of safety because you can see everything. But then, the game slowly takes that away from you. You move from outside the house to inside the dark house. You move into more cramped and darker areas. This dials up the anxiety and gives you a sense of dread. Your freedom is slowly being taken away. This experience is the key to spatial contraction. But that is not the only genius of the Resident Evil 7 opening. Along the way, you discover a videotape that contains the fate of the filmmakers who came before you. They wanted to make a video about this haunted house, and they discovered a secret door in the living room. Then, you see them slowly meet their gruesome deaths. But here is the genius part. The game never directly shows you what caused their deaths. You just know that the path they took led to their end. And now, you are forced to go down that same path, not knowing what awaits you. This is another technique called restricted narration. It was popularized by film scholars David Bordwell and Kristen Thompson in their book Film Art: An Introduction, which is a standard textbook in film schools globally. In narrative theory, narration is analyzed based on the range of information given to the audience. We know that more information generally gives you less fear. That is why many modern video games give you features like detective vision. Now you know how many and what kind of enemies you are dealing with before you ambush them. This extra information acts as a safety net that takes away some of your fear. But in Resident Evil 7, it is the opposite. You see the crewmen meet their fates, but the game never shows you what caused it, or how. This lack of information brings a deep sense of dread. But now, you have no choice. You are forced to go through that secret door and find out with your own eyes. All of this combined gives you an even higher sense of fear. Then comes the subversion of expectations. By now, you know something very scary must be hiding in that room. Maybe a monster or a zombie. But no, you actually find your wife there. The moment you find Mia is a transition from anticipated dread to false catharsis. In psychology and storytelling, catharsis is the release of tension. By finding Mia, the object of your search, the game gives you a moment of relief. This is smartly done to lower your guard. Finding a safe person causes the brain to stop looking for threats. But you know this is a Resident Evil game. When the game gives you a sense of safety, you know shit is going into deep water. Here comes the narrative bait and switch. Turns out your wife, of all people, is the one who killed the filmmakers. And now, she becomes aggro and tries to kill you. Wait, what? I thought you came all the way here to save her. But the very first objective you have is to escape from her and then kill your own wife? Wow, what the fuck? But wait, it's not even over. You kill your wife with an axe, and then she comes back to life to chase you, flip-flopping between the Mia you know and the crazy, relentless monster who wants you dead. Her mental instability really confuses you. Then comes the genius climax buildup. She fucking goes psycho and nails you to the wall. Now she has a chainsaw and cuts off your hand? What the fuck? You have to fight her as this crazy witch with a chainsaw in classic Resident Evil fashion. Finally, after so many shots, you kill her. Or so you thought. As soon as you try to escape this nightmare, Jack comes up behind you and says his iconic line, "Welcome to the family, son." Boom. You are greeted with that iconic dinner scene with the crazy Baker family. All of them have their own unique quirks, which I really love. And you know shit is about to go down. I still think about this opening. You see what they did right here? The presentation is so perfect and memorable, with so many plot twists, tension building, and intense atmosphere. A perfect opening is the one that really says, this is it, as soon as you play the first hour. And boy, Resident Evil 7 is the one for me. By the way, I regularly upload high-quality gaming analysis. Please consider subscribe to the channel. Your support means a lot. Now let's continue. Let's see the opposite, the bad opening scene. And I am going to give you an example. The Last of Us Part 2. Oh boy, here we go. This game has such a garbage of an opening. I think I can make a sample of all the sins of bad video game opening just from this game alone. But somehow, for some strange black magic reason, the game got the Game of the Year award in 2020? I mean, you can see from the dislikes here that we, the gamers, don't like it. But you know what? Let's just go forward with this. I will also try to make a comparison with The Last of Us Part 1 here, because I really, really love the opening scene there. Oh, the irony. The first big sin is narrative bloat. Like, I think the first 5 minutes, when Joel confessed to his brother, is actually pretty okay. It is kind of a callback to Joel and his heavy guilt. I mean, Troy Baker is such a fantastic actor anyway, and I've been a fan of him since BioShock Infinite. But from that moment, it just drags on forever. We spend the first hours walking in the town, just talking about some mundane issues and teenage lesbian love stories, and scandals and… what? Oh wow, exactly what I want to hear from the video game about, you know, fucking zombies? Why the fuck do we need to hear about all of these teenage dramas? In the first hour of a zombie game, the stake should be about survival. Okay, maybe if you just put some flavor here and there for the characters, it is fine. I'm actually a pretty open-minded person, okay? I'm fine with women or LGBT in video games or whatever. I do notice that many of the games that have those messagings are, unfortunately, bad. But it is not because of the messagings, but because the game and the narrative are simply bad. Still, I never really judge a game quality based on that. But dude, this is not a fucking Life is Strange, alright? This is a zombie apocalypse game with deep stories. And I don't want to spend the first hours listening to teenage lesbian dramas in the intro. I remember The Last of Us Part 1 is the antithesis of this narrative bloat. It sets the tone of the game right away. After just a brief moment between Joel and his daughter, Sarah, there is already an outbreak happening, and the whole city fell into literal chaos. We can see this happening from the eyes of Joel, Sarah, and Tommy. Everything happened so fast, and the ultimate tragedy here is the death of Sarah. You can clearly see the emotional impact of the outbreak, the stakes, the tragedy, the rage. Within just 15 minutes, the game really gives such a great opening that people still talk about it. Compare it to The Last of Us Part 2, where there was no stake at all, but that frustration was nothing compared to what comes after it. Yes, I am talking about this scene right here, the death of Joel. Oh my god, where do I even begin with this? There are so many sins here. This could be a lesson on how not to do a video game opening. I remember I was so frustrated I wanted to stop playing. And well, you don't even have to take my word for it. Here are some streamer reactions for you.
Vile, utter, lazy dog shit, storytelling, coding, whatever the fuck you want to call this, man. What? There's a good way to go out and there's a bad way to go out. Dude, Joel literally you played him the entire first game. Literally a main character, a good guy, everything like that. And for have him go out like that.
Guys, this just feels like, almost like Naruto, you know? It's like if at episode 160, some new character come out of the blue in one episode for the first 4 minutes and killed Sasuke with a fucking slingshot pebble. That's kind of how this feels.
높다는 게 진짜 이해가 안 간다. 병신 게임.
맷돌을 돌리려고 하는데 손잡이가 빠졌네. 이런 상황.
But you know, let's just break it down one by one. The first sin is marketing lies. I am sorry, but the Naughty Dog just literally lied to us. Promotional trailers featured many fake scenes with Joel, even digitally swapping his character model in the trailer and replacing it with other characters in the real game.
What the hell are you doing here?
You think I'd let you do this on your own?
What the hell are you doing here?
I think I'd let you do this on your own.
They never show us playing as Abby either, as far as I can tell. But hey, they conveniently disabled the comment section. Then comes the major breach of characters. We know that Joel is a fucking badass in part 1. Joel is a survivalist who spent 20 years being hyper-paranoid. We know how he is always being smart and never trusts any stranger in part 1. Remember this scene right here, where a stranger is asking for help right in front of them and he quickly runs over them. Or when Joel meets Sam and Henry, and he wasn't able to trust them immediately. So tell me, how does that same Joel walk into a basement full of armed strangers, holster his weapons, stand in the middle of the room with no protection at all, and let his brother announce their real names to everyone? It's a total breach of character logic. The Joel we know from part 1 wouldn't have done that. The writers didn't just kill Joel, they killed his character logic for the sake of plot convenience. Then comes the horrible narrative choice. Yes, a horrible narrative choice can have a very negative impact on the experience, especially if it happens at the opening. And what could possibly go wrong with killing the most beloved character in the opening scene and in the most horrible way? Spoiler alert, everything. Joel is not a saint. He has his own selfish reasons and he did many horrible crimes. But he is also a very relatable person and a fan favorite. His character development, from wanting nothing from Ellie to really loving her and considering her his daughter, is the core theme of the first game. He even rather sacrifices the cure for humanity to save her. Call him selfish, call him evil, call him a liar even. But people can't help but understand him, especially if you are a father. Joel is never a good person, but that is the beautiful part. He is a gray area. His character development toward Ellie is one of the most beautiful I've ever seen. And almost everyone universally agrees that his character arc is the best aspect of The Last of Us. I was so hopeful that they'd give some respect to him, but no. They decided to fucking kill him in the worst way possible. In the opening, he literally was brutally tortured and killed by someone he just saved. And then Abby, who the fuck is this buff girl? She came out of nowhere. We somehow played as her in the opening. Then she was saved by Joel, and then she killed Joel? And I don't even mind if they kill Joel. If it is necessary for the plot, so be it. But to be such an unnecessary death in the opening scene without any explanation at all? I mean, this game opening is almost universally hated by the fans for a reason. The impact of this opening scene was so bad for me, I didn't touch the game again for such a long time after playing this opening. This is the first time it has ever happened to me in a long time. I think this is the point I'm trying to say about the importance of a bad video game opening scene. Okay, let's go back and wash our eyes for a second to see what actually makes a good opening. I want to talk about my personal story for a moment. This will help you understand the importance of first impressions. I still remember when I first played Resident Evil 4 a long time ago. It was, I believe, past midnight. Mom asked me to sleep, and I was like, yeah, sure, Mom. I just want to try this one game I bought, and then I promise I'll sleep. My mom gave me a nod and went to bed. Well, I was being honest when I said that. But we had one problem. The first hour of Resident Evil 4 was so good, you couldn't put it down. The presentation of that opening scene is so iconic. First of all, I was already a big fan of Resident Evil, and Leon was my hero. He looked so cool with that jacket. The presentation of that opening scene was perfect, at least for me at the time. The music, the cheesy one-liners, the Ganado's revelation. But the one part that really got me was the village survival battle. That part was so intense. I think I died probably 5 or so times there. Well, my small brain at the time wasn't smart enough to realize I just needed to survive, so I just wasted all of my ammo. But at the very last minute, I heard the bell. Then, the camera rotates, and Leon goes, "Where's everyone going? Bingo?" After that, the title drops. Oh wow, I still remember it as if it was yesterday. You know what? I didn't sleep until maybe 4 or 5 a.m. just so I could play the game non-stop. Like, really non-stop. Then, well, my mom was on my ass the next day. But hey, it was worth the sacrifice. Resident Evil 4 was one of the gold standards for the best opening scene at the time. And to this day, I still really like that game. I plan to make more in-depth videos about these games in my next uploads as well, so please stay tuned. Well, it just shows the importance of first impressions. Even if it happened decades ago, the first impression of a video game leaves a lasting memory for me and many other gamers. So tell me, what are some of the most memorable opening scenes in gaming you've ever seen, and why? Please let me know down in the comment section. I read every single one of them. I regularly upload high-quality gaming analysis. Please consider to subscribe to the channel. Your support means a lot. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.